My name is Arjun. 3 weeks ago, my older brother Rohan was moved to hospice care. Liver failure. Doctor said he had maybe a week left, maybe less. Every night, I sat by his bed, held his hand, watched him fade. But this story is not about Rohan. Not really. It's about the old woman in room 13, across the hall. She never had visitors, never made a sound, until one night she whispered something that changed everything.
Let me tell you about Sunrise Valley Hospice. It's an old building, converted from a nursing home from the 1980s. The walls are that sickly green color. The floor tiles are cracked, and the lights, they flicker. Always at 3 a.m. Rohan was in room 12. I'd sit in this hard plastic chair. There was a window that faced the parking lot. And across the hallway, if I left the door open, I could see into room 13. An old woman, maybe 80, maybe older, white hair, sunken eyes. She never spoke. Nurses would bring her food. She wouldn't eat. They'd change her sheets. She wouldn't move. The nurses called her the silent one. But I called her watching, because sometimes when I walked past her room at night, her eyes would follow me. Not her head, just her eyes, like she knew something I didn't. Night 4. Rohan was barely conscious. His breathing was shallow. I'd been there for 72 hours straight. No sleep, just coffee and fear. At 2:47 a.m., I went to the vending machine down the hall. On my way back, I passed room 13. The door was half open. Inside, the old woman was sitting up. For the first time, she looked at me. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. I stopped. Did you say something? Nothing. Just her eyes. And then she smiled. A small smile. Almost kind. Almost. I walked back to Rowan's room. Shut the door. Tried to sleep. At exactly 3 a.m., the lights flickered. And I heard it. A whisper. Through the wall. From room 13. Whisper sound effect. Drive home tonight, or you'll never leave. I sat up. My heart was pounding. I looked at Rohan. He was still asleep. Or unconscious. I don't know. I opened the door. Looked across the hall. Room 13 was dark. The old woman was lying down again. Eyes closed. I told myself it was exhaustion. Hallucination. I went back to bed. Next night. Same thing. 3 a.m. The whisper. Drive home tonight, or you'll never leave. This time, I walked to her room. The door was locked. Since when do hospice rooms lock from the outside? I asked the night nurse. Room 13, she said. Oh, that door doesn't have a lock. I didn't sleep that night. Night 6. Rohan's breathing was worse. The doctor said it would be hours, not days. I was crying, holding his hand. And then, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks. From the wall. From room 13. I put my ear to the wall, and I heard her voice. Clear as day. Not a whisper anymore. You have 1 night left. Drive home. Or join him. Join him. Join Rohan. Did she mean die? I ran to the nurse's station. Who is the woman in room 13? I asked. The nurse looked at me strangely. Room 13 has been empty for 2 years. Since Mrs. Sharma died there. My blood went cold. Then who have I been seeing? I asked. The nurse didn't answer. She just walked away. Night 7. Rohan was gone. Flatline at 11:47 p.m. I held his hand as he took his last breath. I didn't cry. I couldn't. At 2 a.m., they took his body. I was alone in room 12. And then, I heard it. From across the hall. A soft creak. The door to room 13 opened by itself. I walked to the doorway. The room was empty. No bed. No old woman. Just dust and shadows. But on the floor in the center of the room, there was a single piece of paper. I picked it up. It was a photograph. Old. Black and white. A young man and an old woman. The old woman was the same one I'd seen. The young man was me. Same face. Same mole on the left cheek. But the photo was dated 1987. I wasn't born until 1992. On the back of the photo, written in faded ink, drive home tonight. Your mother is waiting. She has 3 days left. My mother. She's 68 years old. Healthy. Or so I thought. I called her right then. 3 a.m. She answered on the first ring. Arjun, I was just dreaming about you. I felt something. Are you okay? Mom, I said, I'm coming home. Tonight. She paused. Good, she said. I need to tell you something. About my heart. The doctor called yesterday. I didn't want to worry you while you were with Rohan. 3 days. The old woman said 3 days. I drove home that night. 400 kilometers. I didn't stop. I didn't sleep. I just drove. When I got there, my mother was waiting on the porch. She looked fine, but she handed me a letter. From her cardiologist. You have a condition, the letter said. Without surgery in the next 72 hours, your risk of sudden cardiac arrest is 90%. 72 hours. 3 days. I took her to the hospital that same morning. She had surgery the next day. She survived. The old woman in room 13. I never saw her again. I went back to the hospice a week later. Room 13 was still empty. But the photograph? It had changed. Now it showed me, standing next to my mother. Both of us older. Both of us smiling. And the old woman? She was behind us. Watching. Smiling. I keep the photo in my wallet. I don't know who she was. Angel? Ghost? Time traveler? I don't care. She saved my mother's life. But here's the thing I haven't told you. Last week, I was at a grocery store. And I saw her. The old woman. Same white hair. Same sunken eyes. She was buying milk. I walked up to her. Who are you? I asked. She looked at me. Smiled that same small smile. And she whispered, I'm you. 60 years from now. And I came back to warn you about something else. But that's a story for another night. Then she walked away. And I haven't seen her since. But last night I got a text message. From an unknown number. It said, check on your father. He is 6 months. I'll visit you again when it's time. My father is 70 years old. He feels fine. But I'm driving to his house tonight. If you want to know what happens with my father, subscribe. And I'll tell you the rest next week. And remember, sometimes the scariest ghosts are the ones trying to save you. Thanks for watching. Last time, I told you about the old woman in room 13. The one who saved my mother's life. The one who whispered to me from across the hospice hallway. She said she was me. 60 years in the future. A time traveler. Or a ghost. I still don't know. But at the end of the last story, I told you she sent me a text message. Check on your father. He is 6 months. That was 3 weeks ago. Tonight, I'm going to tell you what happened when I went to my father's house. And why I wish I had never gone dead. Why father's name is Suresh. 70 years old. Retired bank manager. Lives alone in a small house in Panchkula. My mother moved out 10 years ago. They're divorced but still friends. He's healthy. Walks every morning. No medications. No complaints. That's what he told me on the phone when I called him after the old woman's text. Arjun, beta, I'm fine. Don't worry. Your mother is the one with the heart problem. I'm strong as a horse. But I couldn't shake the feeling. The old woman had been right about my mother. 3 days. Exactly 3 days. If I hadn't driven home, my mother would have died in her sleep. So I got in my car. Drove 200 kilometers from Delhi to Panchkula. No music. No podcasts. Just silence and fear. I arrived at 9 p.m. The lights were on in his house, but the door was unlocked. My father never leaves the door unlocked that I walked in. The house smelled different, not like his usual sandalwood incense. It smelled old, like dust and medicine and something sweet. Rotting flowers. Papa, I called out. No answer. I walked to his bedroom. The door was half open. Inside, the lights were off, but I could see him, sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at the wall. Papa, I said again. He turned his head slowly. His eyes were glassy, like he hadn't slept in days. Arjun, he said. His voice was dry, cracked. I knew you'd come. What's wrong? Are you sick? The text message said. He held up his hand. Stop me. I'm not sick, he said. But I've been having dreams. Every night. The same dream. I sat down next to him. What dream? He looked at me. And for the first time in my life, I saw a real fear in my father's eyes. A woman, he said. Old. White hair. Sunken eyes. She stands at the foot of my bed. And she whispers the same thing every night. My heart stopped. What does she whisper? I asked. My father leaned close to me. His breath was cold. Don't trust your son. He's not who you think he is. I stood up. Stepped back. My father was looking at me differently now. Not like a father looks at a son. Like a stranger looks at a threat. Papa, That woman is lying. She's not even human. She's me. From the future. Or something. I don't understand it myself. But she saved Mom. She's trying to help us. My father stood up. Slowly. He walked to his closet, opened it, and pulled out an old photograph album. Sit down, Arjun, he said. I need to tell you something I've never told anyone. I sat. He opened the album to the last page. There was a photograph. A hospital. A newborn baby. And a nurse holding the baby. This is you, he said. The day you were born. I know that photo, I said. Mom showed me. Did she tell you what happened that day? He asked. I shook my head. My father took a deep breath. You were born at 11:59 p.m., but the nurse wrote down 12 a.m. The next day. Do you know why? No, because at 11:59 p.m., you weren't breathing. You were dead, Arjun, for 3 minutes. They revived you, but in those 3 minutes, something happened. I felt cold, very cold. What are you saying? I whispered. My father looked at me with tears in his eyes. I'm saying that the old woman might be right. You're not my son. Not really. My son died for 3 minutes. And something came back in his place. I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking. I looked at my own palms. They looked normal. Human. But were they? And then, the lights flickered. Flicker. Flicker. Just like the hospice. The temperature in the room dropped. I could see my own breath. And then I heard it. A whisper. From the corner of the room. He's telling the truth. I turned. The old woman was standing there. In my father's bedroom. Same white hair. Same sunken eyes. Same small smile. My father screamed. Fell off the bed. But I didn't move. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Who am I? I asked. She walked toward me. Slowly. Her feet didn't make a sound. She reached out her hand. Her fingers were cold. So cold. She touched my forehead. And suddenly, I saw everything. A hospital room. A baby not breathing. A white light. And then a choice. The baby was offered a deal. You can go back. But you will never truly belong. You will be a traveler. A watcher. You will see death before it comes. And you will save who you can. The baby said yes. That baby was me. I pulled away from her touch. Tears were streaming down my face. I'm not human. I asked. The old woman smiled. Her teeth were yellow. Broken. You are more than human. You are a bridge. And now, you know the truth. She turned to my father. He was curled up against the wall, crying. Suresh, she said, you have 6 months. Not because of sickness. Because of an accident. A car. A drunk driver. On the night of November 23rd. My father looked up. How do you know? Because I have already lived it. I am Arjun. I am you. I am everyone who has ever died and come back. And I am here to tell you, stay home on November 23rd. Do not drive. Do not go out. Then she looked at me. And you have a new job now. You know what you are. You will see death in people's eyes. You will have 3 days to warn them. Sometimes they will listen. Sometimes they won't. I don't want this, I said. I just want to be normal. She laughed. A dry, crackling laugh. Normal people die, Arjun. You save them. That is your gift. That is your curse. And then she was gone. Just gone. The lights came back on. The room warmed up. My father and I sat on the floor, holding each other, crying. That was 3 weeks ago. My father is still alive. November 23rd is still 5 months away. I will make sure he stays home that night. But here's what I haven't told you. Yesterday, I was walking down the street in Delhi, a random street, and I saw a young woman, maybe 25 years old. She was crossing the road, and in her eyes, I saw it. Death. 3 days. I ran after her. I grabbed her arm. She looked at me like I was crazy. You have 3 days, I said. Don't take the metro. Don't go near the metro station. She pulled away. Call me a psycho. Walked off. But tonight,